So welcome again, the online community, people on TV, and everyone here. Thank you so much for coming. My name is Nalunga Mori Bwanga. I'm married to a man, like a man. He's called Mr. Bwanga. Yes, of late you need to emphasize the marital status. You need to emphasize for the sake of clarity. So I'm an emotional healing coach, very passionate seeing people bounce back from pain, from trauma. Because one thing I know, you can't enjoy life when you are dealing with inner scars, when you are dealing with those wounds. You can pretend for some time, but along the way, and you erupt. Yes, magma down. You remember geography? Yes. When we keep quiet about things and we don't want to talk about them, it's like magma boiling. Then you just need a trigger. And then eruption. No sabla abantu kubo HR no goba. Then until you remember that actually it wasn't necessary to fire them, but then you fired them. And that's why some of us, we are always on the sorry end. The number of times you say sorry, now we wait here when sorry, because you know you are not in touch with your emotions. Because so every time you're like, I'm sorry, I didn't intend. But we don't take back the words once they are what? They are said. Okay? Okay. So, today we are talking about something beautiful. The other time we talked about self-regulation. And so we are going to take a bend into it again, but we are doing a twist into regulation, but we are doing a twist to it. So, you can't regulate unless you know how to deal with your emotions. It's hard, isn't it? You can't really regulate yourself unless you know how to deal with your emotions. And so today we are going to handle emotional suppression. Emotional suppression. Hey, how many of us have suppressed emotions here? This week. And actually we do it on a daily basis, because as much as it sounds like it kind of sounds a bit negative, but it's not entirely bad. No, it's not entirely bad to suppress emotions. Actually, in psychology, it's a defense mechanism. Yes, it's a defense mechanism. There comes those times in life when you need to suppress a little, like at least to come, because why? The circumstances around are not giving you a chance to fully express those emotions. Okay? But then it can't be a lifestyle. You can't keep on every day suppressing that anger. You can't keep on every day suppressing that sadness. For a boy child, they told a man doesn't cry. So that boy child has never cried. So even when things are squeezing them, you know, that is suppressing them intentionally. You know, you can't keep on suppressing that, you know, that happiness. Because when we talk about emotions, we are not just talking about the negative emotions. And even they are called negative, but they are not entirely bad. Anger is not a bad emotion. For those of you who read the Bible says, never let the sun go down when you are still angry. I don't read anywhere in the Bible where it said, never be angry. No. It allows us to be angry, but for a time period. Because prolonged anger will go into rage, then bitterness, and then that's when you start holding a grudge on someone. 5 years, 10 years, you're still battling with that person on your heart. So suppression can't be a lifetime, like a lifestyle for you. But yet, there are moments in your life where you can suppress, because those circumstances call for that. Imagine you are in a meeting and, you know, things are tough. The meeting is, you know, there is a lot of tension. And you want to bang the tables before your boss. Some even they point at their bosses. You, they forget. Why? Because now it's anger leading. You get it? You fired. You fired. So as much as you are angry at that point of time, you need to learn emotional regulation and first aid yourself more. And sometimes actually you are on the right wing. Do you know that? Like it's your boss on the wrong side of things. But do you have the ability to say, okay, I'm going to suppress this emotion intentionally. I'm going to calm down and first suppress it. Then afterwards, I'll talk about it. You know, in a safe environment where you're not going to be disrespectful. Do you know that some of us have argued disrespectively? You've proven a point, which is a very good point, but disrespectively. And people never took your points. Why? Because you disrespected them. Even actually a mature boss will tell you, you had a good point, but the way you brought it out. Have you experienced that? Or have you seen that in meetings? They did. And actually even you can see it, that for sure Bambi Mole has a good point. What she's talking about, it's true, it's right, but the way you're bringing it out. So disrespectful. Why? Because you are angry. So emotional suppression is about, I usually want to bring these things. One of my callings is to make sure these things come to a layman's understanding without using a lot of psychology for people to feel like, now, kati ate tuli psychologist class. We need to be home. So if we talk about emotional suppression, it's just for you, like sitting down or bottling them or sitting on them, and you're like, no. Like a feeling shows up, an emotion shows up, a thought comes into your mind, and you're like, no, I don't want. Now, those no's are different. There is a no where I say, Molly, not now. You get that tone is different. I'm like, Molly, not now, and not in this space. You get that? Then there is this no of like, no, I don't want to think about those things. When it comes to relationships, no. Now, that is you being violent actually to yourself. Do you realize actually the second you are becoming more angry? Yes. The second the way you are suppressing, you are not reasoning with your emotions. You are just fighting them. But you can't fight emotions. Many of us have fought anger, but even today you're still struggling with anger. Isn't it? Fear. No yumba, no yumba, what's wrong with me and fear? What? Someone was saying, the moment you come here and you start fidgeting, what? You are arguing with your fear instead of reasoning with your fear. So emotional suppression is about you sitting down on them. It's an intentional move. You know, you say, I don't want to think about this. But what I want to emphasize is that suppressing, which is unhealthy. You pretending about things as if they are not happening. You pretending about anger as if you're not angry. You are actually very angry. But then you're like, that's a chanyiga. But you are boiling. No wonder we displace on people or we project. I remember explaining displacement last time. For those who are not around. Displacement, you look for a weaker vessel. You leave the other one because you know, oh, they can beat me. So you look for a weaker vessel, and you pour out your anger. A mother who argues with the husband in the bedroom and they come to a maid. You know maids have suffered. Because you know you are in charge of them. So you come to your child because they have poured tea or water on the carpet. No more water on the carpet. And you beat them. Water just. But the question is, were you beating a character issue or you were just exploding? Very few people who sit to question themselves. That's why we have parents who have burnt their children out of anger. Teachers who have beaten good. Children in class. Kumbe the teacher is having marital issues back home. And then they come on my poor Zion. God, protect my son. Hey, protect our children. You know? And it happens. It happens to all of us. So do you have the ability to regulate? We talked about self-regulation. Today we are talking about suppression. The question is, why would you suppress? I think we shall talk about it in the interactive part. But why do we suppress? Some of us suppress societal issues. A man doesn't cry. You lose a loved one and you see the man is in pain. The wife has passed on. The mother's passed on. But the man is pretending to be, strong. Why? A man can't cry. How can a man, tears flow on a man's face? So Bambi, you be there pretending. But of late we have some men who cry. And it is okay for a man to cry. Because the emotion that will be evoked because of grief is sadness. So, suppressing. Some of us, when it comes to such losses, there's what we call we call it intellectualization and rationalization. You justify. What is that? Intellectualization. You put in a lot of reasoning. So what you do, even if it's like your loved one who has passed on, you start reasoning so much. In your talk, you you start saying, after all, she has lived for long. And maybe, yes, it's true she has lived for long, but that's not the time for you to start making those things. Allow yourself to feel that pain. Allow yourself to resonate with the situation, But you start, and even you force the smile. By the way, 100 years. 100 years. Yeah, it's okay. It is a blessing for her to live 100 years, But if you don't feel it inside that you want to celebrate a life long lived, don't pretend about it. Because when everyone has gone after the burial, the real truth will come on you. The real truth will come on you. We rationalize. We make ours. Have you ever seen, especially firstborns on burial? You are all over. Gwali mumere, gwali kuntana, gwala bamayinja gatana, and it is okay. You are in charge of things. But even when there is another person in charge of those things, in that moment, you don't want to trust anyone. Even in the second born, you know that, okay, they are smart, they can do these things. You don't, why? You want to be busy so that you suppress this emotion called sadness, and in you are thinking, I am not feeling the pain. But you are feeling the pain. I know someone who almost fell into that is it the grave or what? Yes. I know someone, throughout the entire period, she was busy. She lost her son. And throughout the entire season, she was okay, busy running, doing everything. When the real time came for putting that baby down, she almost fell into that grave. Because that's when reality popped in, and she's like, I'm not going to see this baby again, Because throughout, she was suppressing it. Like I said, it's a defense mechanism. You can use it. We use this defense mechanism sometimes. And it's part of life, by the way. The body is protecting itself from pain. You don't want to, no one wants to experience pain. If we had a way out, even if it was to pay, money, abagagga bandi badde basasula ddo butafuna bulumi. Omwavu bandi badde wakufa nga bebagamba omwavu wakufa. Yes, but the body keeps it. The body will remember it, that you didn't feel me, you didn't express me. Now I show up in fatigue, migraine, sickness. The body will bring it back. The body will bring it back in those suicidal tendencies, only to realize that it's true right now, and you're like, now I think I need to go where they went. Yes. Haven't you seen people who have lost loved ones, and after a week they tell you they committed suicide? Because the pain now real came in intense, and they want to express it, but they are alone now, and yet healing happens in safety. Expression happens in safety. You need to feel safe with some people and express that emotion. Some people even get dates. I have one of my best friends. We can date crying. Say, Mori, Bintwala, I am so busy. I am so busy. She works for an organization, they're extra busy, and she'll tell you, I'm so busy, but I feel like crying. I'm driving to Jinja right now, and I feel like if I cry right now, nyinza otomera. So ngawulira gajja, but I'm putting it down. As it comes, I'm like, go back. And then she tells me, when kulabira went to the dice, nkabirawo. Yes, and by the way, we've had those moments. She's my best friend in life, really. And we've had those moments. The moment she comes, it's a hug. It's like, because she's like, I kept these tears because I know with you, I can express myself. Oh, if I cry and my mucus comes out, whether on your t-shirt, it is okay. You will not be like a temole, what mole is. No. I'm a safety. I'm safe. She's safe with me. Okay? So she can suppress the emotion for a reason. And it's a healthy way. Because she realizes if she becomes emotional on that journey, chances are high she can cause an accident. So and the way we suppress now, that one, the healthy way, you are talking to yourself. Mala, I know this hurts. Mala, I know this is painful. But calm down. First deliver this. Soko guse chino. Chimala okutuuka. Okay? I am communicating to myself. Have you ever had your tears coming? Almost like you feel like they are almost coming, dropping. And you hold them. And they go back. We have that ability. Yes, we have that ability. It's a God-given ability. We have it. So if we have that ability to hold tears, why don't we hold the anger? Not sabula abantu out of anger. Why? So when we suppress some societal issues, a woman doesn't talk. That is a societal norm. A woman doesn't talk back to her husband. So whether they are abusing you, putting you down, what? No. So you are boiling. Go to prison. For those of you who have done prison ministry, some of us have done prison ministry. When you go to the women wing, you will be shocked. There are women you find there because they chopped off their husband is boo. But when you talk with them to know what happened, they narrate you a story of like 5 years of being emotionally abused. And along that time, they were just suppressing that emotion. They didn't get a way of expressing it. They didn't get like, omukazi tayogera. So how can you talk to this guy? So if omukazi tayogera and you will not be able to express that anger to your husband, do you have a friend? Do you have someone? For you fear, I can't talk about my marital issues. The Bible says there is nothing new under the sun. So whatever you're experiencing in your marriage, it is not new, by the way. People have experienced these things. Wake up. You're not the first one, and you will not be the last one. So even if you keep quiet about it, or it's infidelity, or it's beating, my dear, you're not the first one to be beaten. They have beaten those people, and they have talked about it. So the fear of like, I can't talk to anyone. So meaning if you can't talk to anyone, and as well you can't express this anger to your husband because you fear they will slap you again. So when are you going to express this emotion? I told you research, Harvard is doing this research, and the reason why I love their research is it's because it's not a 1-year research. For those who have followed their research, it's like 10, 20 years of a prolonged time of doing a research, and it is proven. Stress, ulcers, cancer, right now. Cancer has started being linked into these stressful things we're experiencing. Can you imagine such a terrible disease? To be linked because we can't deal with our traumatic experiences, with our stressful events. And then we start getting those cancerous diseases. Why? Because you sit on that anger. I don't know if you've ever sat on that anger and then that all week you have migraine. I had those moments. And then you feel like bursting, but you're not bursting. you feel a sharp pain in the heart. Yeah, someone is telling us even here. Can you imagine that kind of anger? Pretty Brian says she throws up, real throwing up. Anger. I know someone who they were biting their tongue. And people thought by Nsimbo, now I don't know Nsimbo in English. What is that disease in English? Overseas, she's those things. I know someone who almost died because of anger. Like when she gets angry, like she's like almost biting. I remember people running with a spoon to pull, yes. And people thought I knew Simba, but they are in Simba. Because for us, we know her. We knew her for a long time. But it was anger until we talked with her, and I was like, Madam, you need to deal with this anger. You need to deal with this anger. So, and Simba. So why do you suppress? Some of us, we suppress because of our traumatic experiences. You went through abuse. You went through abuse or abuse of any nature. I think it's yesterday when I watched Linda's story. Like I had put it on my plan to watch, so it's yesterday when I watched it, and well done. So when we experience such pains, we hold these emotions in. Imagine like the pain of sexual abuse. You know? You are holding on to, like someone saying, yes. You hold on to this pain. And remember, that is something that is so, like, kind of shameful, you know? So you're wondering, how do I tell this story? How do I share about this story? So you hold on to it. But sadness, guilt, shame, they are all inside of you. You've never gotten a chance of expressing it. Every time you feel like you want to talk about it, you're like, ha! My God, if everyone here gets to know that I was sexually abused, I think they'll be looking at me like, you know, so you suppress it. You suppress it. But you suppressing it doesn't mean that it's not doing its internal work. No wonder you are becoming bitter and bitter every day. Every day. Why? Because something inside of you, it's doing its work. Not until we disempower it and you're like, you know what, I'm going to talk about it. And when we say I'm going to talk about it, I'm not telling you go on social media as much as we're into content creation. I'm not telling you go start right away. Hey guys, Instagram live. Me, I was sexually abused. Guys. And because we said be authentic. And actually there is what we call online dumping. It's a new term. And actually most counselors, and especially those guys into therapy, they have started questioning it. Because people are looking for sympathy. Some don't have meaningful relationships. So people just go online. And someone just comes. You just dump. You don't, like, do you know, there are people who dump. That's why it's called dumping. Like, even the story doesn't have any emotions. Someone was sexually abused, but it's like they are talking about over chips and chicken. Like, you know, the way they talk about it. So inside of you, the listener, you're even wondering to feel sorry for them, but at the same time you are confused whether they are even hurting. You just there, they leave you hanging. We call it online dumping, internet dumping. You just wake up and throw anything. As much as they're telling us to do content creation, still we need to be wise. And actually, like they told us, tell your story. But also she said, look into that story. Maybe you're not yet at the stage where you can just pour your story online. And it is okay. Pick parts in your story which you can. I have a story that I can't tell online yet. And I'm okay with it. I'm not ready to bring it. It is my story. It's not your story. Okay? But I am not suppressing my emotions around that story. One of the people, I'm glad she's in this room, I dump. Mommy blessed. You know, she became my mother, so pew, we can talk. So you need to find a safe space for you to express. Otherwise, the more you suppress, you're going to get sick. Because to some of us, suppression became like the end wing of everything. It became the order of the day. Why do you suppress? Fear. Fear. I can't show that I'm angry. And when you don't show that, do you know that when we suppress, we become people pleasers? I remember someone writing for me a note at my workplace. I was a type, part of my upbringing had caused me a lot of fear. You see me confident here, honey, I wasn't like this. I was so, not shy, but I was like, I didn't believe in myself at a certain point in my life. People don't believe it. People think, I'm this, blah, blah, blah. But it came from work. I had to do some work. So I remember I never had a no in my mouth. I was people pleasing. Me, I thought everyone, like people should love me. Because growing up at a certain age when I lost my dad, I think love disappeared in the world. And so I didn't get it. From wherever I grew up from, there was no love really. So I grew up with this fear. Because around a certain time, you're like, now what are they planning? What are they thinking about? So I grew up with this fear in me. And now that fear, I don't know if there are people who grew up in environments where you never expressed yourself. You were beaten for not doing anything. Like you don't talk, because we grew up, they used to tell us, like, mukulu. So we grow up, like as you grow, for you in your mind, and that's why actually today we are questioning people's esteem and confidence. We don't know where it's coming from. There are people who have grown up like that. Like you don't speak. You just lie down. By the time you defend yourself, turn or funye. By the time they are listening to you, they are finished slapping you. And they're like, Jaja, I didn't do it. By the time they are listening to you, you are crying already. And the person who did it, they are there looking, opening their wide eyes. And so as you grow up, that becomes a pattern in your life. So that's why even in meetings, you are at work, these are people who don't say anything. That's why we need good leaders who can identify those people. Be that leader. Don't wait for everyone to shoot their hand up. There are those who will not, because they are dealing with a certain trauma. And it's you, a leader, to be like, Mother, do you have anything to say? Or you are a type of a leader. For me, who doesn't show up their hands, very confident. Some people want to be confident, but they are dealing with certain things. They are dealing with a long-term issue of like, you don't have anything good coming out of your mouth. What are you saying? So they start suppressing. So even when they annoy you, you just be like, For me, I never expressed my anger growing up. You get that? Because that's a pattern in you. So yet others, it is two-way. Yet others, when they grow up, it is freedom square. I didn't get angry. Now it's my turn. Sigambo ako. Whoever comes up, I show them. Whoever what, I show them. Do you know that we have such type of people who are like that? Me, I speak my mind. They are compensating. We call it fixation. They are compensating. I missed it the other time. It is my time now. So for you, you quarrel. You argue. You are angry. Why? You are in the compensation time now. But compensating over what? Anger. You know? So trauma can make you suppress. So I don't know what trauma you've dealt with in your life. Ask yourself. Because you need to question, where is this fear coming from? Because there is extreme fear, honestly. There's extreme fear. You need to question yourself, where is it coming from? What am I dealing with which I'm not addressing? Because wounds don't heal when we just cover them. Like, have you seen, I remember our young brother got burnt. Water. But I remember at in Zambia when they were treating him, oh my God, you don't want to see when they're treating someone who has got a burn. Like, when the layer comes on top, and in your mind you feel like they are healed, you know, oh, they have healed. And then the doctor comes back tomorrow. They give it some time. Then the doctor comes back after like maybe 3 days. Ah, God. They are coming back with that liquid. They pour on it and clean it entirely. And it looks like fresh meat. And by the way, it's you who is looking at it, who's thinking it's not healing. But the healing of those bands takes place on the sides, from the sides. So when you look by there critically, you realize that the healing is happening and it's coming slowly, slowly. So the more they do like this, they peel off that layer, which makes you angry. Like, no, you are hurting my brother. No, the healing is happening. Because the healing happens like this. So same way with our emotional wounds. The more you suppress them, covering them, I can't talk about this abuse. I can't talk about this domestic violence. I can't talk about this thing. We need to open them up. But mark my words, we don't just open them up. We open them up in a safe space with safe people. So there are many reasons why you suppress, but because of time, let me get to the ways you can. And these things are very common, by the way. One of them is journaling. If you don't have yet a safe person, sit down and write about that painful experience. Write about it as if you are talking to someone. Today, this boss calling me a chicken, a whole married man. Who does? Yeah, itachono. Yeah? This kingdom animalia. Because in your mind, you already insulted them, but you are pretending. So on paper, feel free to express it so that you don't suppress that pain. So, and in line with journaling, or letters we write, there is a letter you are writing and it's going to stay invisible. Nobody will ever see it. Actually, even after writing it, burn it. Because that was for raw expression. Exactly how you feel. I remember Pretty Brain talking about the things she used to write about her husband. Hey, today I'm annoyed now and you know, it is a black book, moreover. It's you expressing yourself instead of suppressing, because when you suppress it, tomorrow, my dear, your boss is waiting for you at work. And for them, they are waiting for you to work in full swing. They don't want to know whatever happened between you and your husband in the bedroom. They expect productivity. Do you know that we lose loved ones at work? If they give, I don't know, long time. I know of one person, they gave them 1 month. A certain bank, which I will not mention. They gave them 1 month. And I felt like that was long, really. Other places, my dear, 1 week. 1 week. The next week, they want you at work. And actually the boss will come. If they are human, they will come and say, oh, sorry, we know what you're going through, but I need that report in the next 30 minutes. My dear, nothing is going to stop because you are emotionally sick. Things are going to continue. So the earlier the better we learn how to deal with our pains, with our emotions. And that's why we go back. That boss came and talked very well, isn't it? I know what you're going through. But also, she's a manager. They're expecting work, reports from her. So she comes and tells you, I know what you're going through, and I feel for you, but I expect that report, 30 minutes. That is a trigger. People don't understand. They don't know what we are going through. How dare you say 30 minutes? Out of the many words they said, you only capitalize on what? 30 minutes. Why? You are dealing with certain things you've suppressed. I tell people, I've cancelled organizations. I have, big up to the schools that have given me their staff members who have lost loved ones. They bring them and I cancel them. I've told them, excuse yourself a minute. Go to the loose. If you feel the wave, like I told you last time, someone said, grief is a living thing. It is living. Why? I lost my dad many years. I was between 4 and 5. I'm in my early 30s now, almost mid there. But there is a day when, like, I get the wave of my dad. And it, like, even my body feels it. And I just feel like I am missing this person. More about 5 years. Today I told you, if my dad walked in, I don't think I know him. Apart from maybe the pictures I see in the album. Maybe that's the, I can try to blend it and like, maybe it's the one. But at 4 years, 5 years, you can't really have the full, fullness of the person. But my dear, that wave comes. Why? The triggers are everywhere. I can see how people, dads are taking care of their children. I can see on social media, you see this dad hugging their daughter, and then you're like, oh, this is what I missed. And then you feel it. You get it? So it's on me when that sadness comes up. If I'm in a safe space, I can be at work sometimes and I just tell myself, Molly, go to the, take a walk. You know, take a walk. One of my healing stuff is listening to worship. I'm like, you know, get some worship. And I take a walk. I walk around Kololo, so I can take a walk up like Acacia there, and I go back. You know, I don't want to suppress that emotion, but I want to converse with that emotion, talk to it, and I'm like, yes, I am sad, but yet the day has to go on. They're expecting some work from me. So I communicate to Molly, little Molly, you're missing Papa. Yes, it is okay. And that's why you are sad. And it's normal. Actually, when you think about your loved one, you are expected to miss them. You're expected to be sad. You can't laugh in this moment. It is painful. But we are going to go through it, you know. You will manage. Molly, you are strong. As I take my walk, do you realize that I'm conversing with my emotion? I am not suppressing it like, no, I don't want to think about these things. The dead are dead. Don't discuss. No, I would discuss with myself to calm down. You get it? So, or from journaling, you can take a walk. That is okay. There is what we call talk therapy. Engaging with a professional person. You can engage with a friend, but sometimes there are deep wounds. The best a friend can do, you will be okay. It is well. You know that statement, we use it, but certain wounds, you really need real therapy. So you can go for talk therapy and you interface with someone qualified, really, and they talk with you and we give you those therapies because they are there. They are there. Therapies for grief are there. Anger management, we can give you an assignment. I can give you an assignment about anger. You go back and you do it. Relaxation exercises. Like I told you, I'm doing school counseling right now in this time. And senior fours, when I was talking to them, because I know we all experience that panic during exams. And I remember teaching them just breathing exercise. This week has been one of my happiest weeks. They were giving me feedback as we were doing exams. Madam Kansala, the other thing worked. I looked at physics, Nemplanga and Ponze. So panicking, I'm panicking. Then I remember the counselor said, breathe in, breathe out. And I started. At first I was like, everyone is seeing me breathing in. But then they're like, I need to calm down. Because if I calm down, because I told them when you calm down, the mind starts recorrecting. And then the boy is so happy telling you, in that paper I expect like 80. Why? Because they tell you, at first I felt the paper was hard. But then I did those relaxation exercises. And I affirmed myself and I told myself, Aziz, you're going to pass this paper. As I am breathing in, I'm like, I breathe in excellency. Aziz, you are passing this paper. And they tell you, as I started coming, why don't I sleep happy, honestly? Why? I slept happy just listening to that feedback. But someone who didn't go through that will not tell you those exercises. Yajja kugamba mna eguma naffe twafiirwa taata yafa kojja nafa senga nafa no nze bafiira mu accident omulundi ogu gwe no uwali ogu. You've started comparing grief. I remember telling people we don't compare pain. We don't compare grief. How people say, for you, your mom, your dad has died at 100 years. You are lucky. They have died. They have lived. You should be celebrating. Me, mine at 4 years of age, what do you want me to do? I would be even walking naked. But for you, that's what friends tell us, ma'am. And they think, ma'am, they are helping, only to know that they are deepening the wound. And that's why people isolate. Listen, sikyagala kwogera n'abantu, wayogera n'abandi, wajjako ewange ne twogera. You talked with the wrong person. Yes, they were right, they are your friends, but they didn't have the real content for you. You get. So talk to a friend, but also know a limit. And when I go to my friend, it's, you know, to calm me down in that moment. But I need the real thing. Then you look for a qualified person. So, Another way you can deal with suppression so that you don't do it. From talk therapy, we do these exercises. You can go jog, run. You know the things we do them and people think we are trying to become a muzungu, whatever. But my dear, pain it doesn't segregate. Mudugav no muzungu, black and white, what dark, purple, whatever. We all experience pain. And there is nothing like these therapies work for bazungus. That's what we tell ourselves Africans. But yet you are experiencing the pain. These are suppressing these emotions. So, move around. Do some exercises, you know. As you do those exercises, you know, you are interfacing. Mark my words, I'm not telling you, divert. Because also some of those things we do them to divert ourselves from the emotions, isn't it? Some of us, you can be at home, and then you remember the heartbreak. No. Aka soap. No kufuna ka soap. Aka kore yawo no kafuna. No. I don't want to think about those things. Movie. No quarter movie. And so that's how you are dealing with that heartbreak every day. Every day. Those emotions are climbing, coming up. Movie. And some of you have watched these movies up to morning. Then you doze at work. Because what? You were dealing with what? You were suppressing. You don't want. It is painful, yes, we know. But there comes the reality when you need to sit with it. And you tell yourself, Ruth, for a long time you've been running. Today is the day. Today is the day today. Let's talk about this heartbreak. Who are you becoming as a result of this heartbreak? You start asking yourself those pertinent questions. Mole, you are losing it. Do you know that you're losing it? Do you realize that yesterday you saw people holding their hands in love and you almost wanted to slap them? Mole, what's wrong with you? You are losing it, Mole. Do you realize that you almost shouted at your boss at work because you are angry? Mole, you are losing it. That is you now, you've accepted to sit down with this pain and express this emotion, sadness, this emotion, anger. Even if it means sobbing, crying, sobbing, it is okay. Rather than pretending about it for a long time, just pushing it down for every day. No wonder some of you went into marriages. Now accidental. It's along the way like you were like, because even also some people date to divert their pain of the heartbreak. Do you know that there are what we call rebounding relationships? Yeah, there are many people who are rebounders. You are married to a rebounder, like to someone who was rebounding. And that's why marriages struggle of late. Because this person came into your life thinking, yeah, when I go here, we shall be engaging into byabakulu. Yeah, the other pain will go away. So, until when are you going to get satisfied with those things? You'll do them, then reality comes in. Like, I don't love this person, by the way. I don't love this person. Why? Because the intention for dating, it wasn't real. You just went into that dating to escape the pain of the other heartbreak. We have so many. And they tell you, around the first heartbreak, I got more 5. Because, and even they tell you, Councillor Mole, these ones I don't call them heartbreak. Even me, I don't know what I was doing. Even when they are counting the X's, these ones are not in the X. No, me, I only know one X. The other one, that was official. These ones here, I don't know. Why? Because they just went into them to ease, just to release, for a relief. And it's when the reality is coming in and you're like, I actually don't love this person. Yet if you sat down and stopped suppressing that anger that pops up every time you think about that ex, and you tell yourself, Coach Mori, today, honestly, let's talk about this guy. Because the guy is on my head. When I sleep, I dream about him. When I am walking, some of you have seen your exes in other people walking on the road. Yes, like you are walking and you see someone as if they resemble that guy. Only to realize and you're like, oh no, God, he's not the one. You know? Why? Why? Because we want to suppress the things. You don't want to feel it. You are supposed to feel it. When you feel it, find a safe person. And that's my last point because I want us to finish. Safety. Healing happens in safety. Real healing happens in safety. You need to find safe people. I'm not telling you the whole world. But you need to find someone safe. There is nothing you are hiding. Nothing. You're just going to die. I am telling you. God forbid. Pain kills you guys. Pain kills. Have you ever had pain and you feel like you are not even breathing? Have you ever somersaulted in your bed? You're just there rotating the whole night. Shoop, shoop. You're just there. You turn east, you turn west. You go north, you go south. You're just there. Problems all over the bed. Until you get annoyed and you're like, why am I even sleeping? And you just start walking. You are the one looking, God, the night is long. The night is not long. Some of us want the night to get prolonged. For you are like, when is it coming to morning? You are alone. For us, we want the night to be prolonged. Because you're sitting on that thing, suppressing them. Find a safe person. Find safety. Even when you want to express actually that pain, like I'm saying, if you feel like crying here is hard, you go to the loos. If you feel triggered, go to the loos. But some of us, it is okay. If you feel your pain, go, fall in Mommy Blessed. She's a mother to the nation. Go fall in and be like, Mommy, I'm dying. And you will not die. You will not die. And then let it out. Let it out. Stop these things. I'm a man. I'm mkwano. Pain doesn't know gender. Statistics actually shows women have lots of suicidal tendencies and attempts, but they don't act on it. Men, the moment it comes, they're acting on it. Yes, go look for that reason. It's evident. When women start thinking about, having those suicidal tendencies, we can be there. Yeah, I feel like killing myself. I feel like dying. But because women, we are verbal, most of us. You remember Maggie? Ha! Maggie. The way I'm feeling right now. Chogereko. A man is there. I don't want my wife to know. She will think I am weak. Then if I call a fellow man, I tell they will think I am weak. And that's when you go into what we call unhealthy coping mechanism. A man who never used to drink, you start drinking. Then when you're like, man, my husband is a born-again Christian, is this staunch over Muslim? What's happening? The man is drinking. Before you know it, it becomes an addiction. Some of them, sex. It's how they cope. They start looking for everyone who need to be shocked that your man is sleeping with a prostitute. Yes. They sleep with your house helpers because they are coping. But they cope today with that one. Hangover. The moment it goes off, the pain is like, you left me here, I'm still here. Then you have to cope again. Unhealthy. Before you realize it, it becomes an addiction. Guess what? We are dealing with an emotional pain, and then we are going to deal with an addiction. And then they will take you into the rehab. Now, chances are in the rehab, they don't know that it is the emotional pain that led to the addiction. Then for them, they will handle the addiction. Only to release you from the rehab after 6 months. After 2 months, you start again. Why? They didn't deal with the emotional scar. For them, they dealt with the addiction. That's why you see many people in those rehab centers, it has become a home for some of them. And people say, rehabs don't work. No, they just don't know what they are dealing with yet. For them, they are thinking it's alcoholism, it's sex, it's what? Drugs. Yet, what evoked that is an emotional pain that you were suppressing, and they didn't get to know. So those things we are suppressing, they can lead us into those addictions. I can talk and talk and talk about these things because this is me. Hey, this is me with these things. But I want us to switch gears, and I want to conclude with the assignment I'm leaving us with, at least in the many things. Pray for a safe person in your life. We don't heal in isolation. We heal in a community. We heal together. That's why when you sit in a community and people share about their pain, you start waking up and like, oh, she went through all that and she's able to bounce back. I think I can. Even me, I can. And then you are like, how did you manage? What helped you? But when you isolate yourself, how will you know? You'll be alone. So we don't heal in isolation. We heal together. And when I get healed, you get healed, we get a health community. So pray. Your number one prayer should be, God, give me a safe person I can express myself with. Give me good relationships. If they are not yet there, start with journaling, but don't allow those things to stay inside of you. Express them. Don't suppress them. I said in the beginning, suppression is a defense mechanism. Defense, the word defense, protective, but it's not a lifestyle. It can't be a lifestyle. You're going to get migraine, you're going to get ulcers, you're going to get all sorts of high blood pressure, all those things, because you're suppressing those things. So thank you so much for listening.